Okay, ladies and gentlemen, and all the vets, we're about to begin our Veterans Day ceremony, November 11th, 2021. I want to welcome you all of our citizens here in the Heritage Valley, Santa Clara River Valley, Fillmore, Piru, in the outlying areas, and some of our guests from Moore Park as well. Yep. So I want to thank you all for being here. I want to thank the vets. This is an honor for me to be here and to MC today's ceremony. My name's Ernie Villegas. I am a veteran. I'm a past mayor and city council member here in Fillmore, and I'm on the board of directors of trustees for the Fillmore Piru Veterans Memorial District. We're proud. We're proud to be here with all of you, and I just am tickled to death to see all of our community show up to pay tribute to our veterans. So thank you very much. At this time, I'd like to go ahead and have our VFW go post 963C. I'm sorry, 9637. Go ahead and post our colors, if you will.
Here's the post colors. Post the colors. And salute. Ready? Two.
Let's give him a round of applause. And it's my honor to introduce to you Mr. Danny Golson. Danny, if you can come up and lead us on the Pledge of Allegiance.
All civilians, please stand, and all personnel, please stand. All civilians, please place your right hand over your heart. All veterans, and come to attention. Present arms. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Veteran, ordered, armed. Thank you.
You know, I think I'm going to use Danny for all of these events. He's really good at this, isn't he? Let's give him a hand. And also, I'm very happy to see my very good friend, Mr. Joey Ortiz. Joey will sing our national anthem. So, Joey, it's yours.
All right, everybody, if you want to join along and sing along with this, feel free. Everybody stand, and if you want to place your hand over your heart, please do and sing along with me as I commence with this. Ready? Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, through broad stripes and bright stars, through the perilous fight. Ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave truth through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land of the free and the home of the brave. Thank you.
play ball. No, that's a different thing. Okay. So, I'd like to introduce to you Mr. Dave Wade, who will do our invocation. Dave.
Good morning. What a wonderful morning this is. What an emotional time it is to actually speak after we just sang that emotional song. I'm Dave Wade. My name's Dave Wade. I'm the pastor of the new church that's starting here at Fillmore Sesame Creek Bible Church. And right behind me, we hear somewhat of an echo of what happened when we just recited our allegiance to the flag, and we spoke about there was one nation under God. And behind me in the city council hall, there's another sign that says, "In God we trust." And so today we remember how God has proven his trustworthy in protecting our country through his instrument of the United States Armed Forces. May we not just view God as an American or a patriotic icon, but may we worship him as he commands us to, which is in spirit and in truth. And therefore, let's go to the Lord with thanksgiving for this great day. Pray with me, please. Heavenly Father, creator of all things, you have indeed created wonderful things. We are all experiencing this now on this wonderful day. You proclaimed that all your creation was good, but when you created man, you said, "It is very good." That was because mankind was made in your image, and you had special plans for mankind. Yet sin entered into the world, and man turned against you and turned against one another. And through the ages, evil continued to grow. Yet with you ordained for us, the United States of America, a special time in this place in world history. And with our proclamation of "In God we trust," you have provided us then your instrument of the United States Armed Forces in order to enforce issues even around the world regarding the treatment of those made in your image. And what an amazing track record our military have had. What an honor to serve in this capacity. Therefore, Father, we thank you for the courageous men and women who have all made sacrifices to serve our country and even the world in this capacity. And we remember and appreciate those who have lost their lives, loved ones, limbs, and even personal liberty as a result of this service. Their sacrificial service has lined up with your command for mankind to love one another. They have fought against those that have come against your commands, including their fight against the oppression of the weak, their fight to uphold justice, their fight for peace, their fight for freedom to live according to your plan for mankind, and their fight to preserve religious freedom to enjoy and worship you. And Father, as your word even says in the book of Romans chapter 13, that the government is a minister of God, an avenger who bring wrath on the one who practices evil. And we see that these men and women have proven to be a force to be reckoned with against evil. Yet at the same time, they've been desperately needed relief to the innocent that long to see the American military come in and rescue them. And we thank you, Father, so much for them. We also then want to pray. We thank you for them. We want to pray for them. We want to pray for continuous help for them regarding our veterans. That even after this wonderful day of reflection and celebration, there is a reality of pain for many of them every day. Many of our veterans are suffering due to their service. Some with physical pain or loss that they deal with daily. For some, it's the contrast of the past glory of the good old days with the emptiness of today. And for others, spiritual pain in the evil that happened to them or what they may have witnessed happening to others. And still others, Lord, may be suffering from the unspoken regrets or maybe even guilt that they have as a result of their service, with suffering that they may feel that they're all alone in. And we know that this physical and spiritual pain has a catastrophic effects on many veterans, even to the result of them taking their own lives. But you are gracious and merciful, Father, who's able and willing to heal all these things. Your word says that you will help all that accept the free gift of peace with God and peace with each other through the sacrifice of your Son, Jesus. Now I pray, Father, that everyone here would pause and taste your goodness towards us through what we have seen in the dedication of these veterans that we honor today, that we experience the refreshing fruit of the sacrifice of these veterans, that we would all soberly seek this eternal peace that you offer us through the ultimate sacrifice of your Son, Jesus Christ. So we pray that you would bless our precious veterans that are suffering because of their service. And with this, we also pray for our beloved country, which is suffering so much today. And may we not lose the ground that they have accomplished in our freedom. May we stand firm with the work that they have done and not give up the freedom that they have fought so diligently for. May we seek you, Father, that we would live according to what we claim, what we say, in God we trust, and through the ultimate healer, your Son, Jesus Christ, who's the healer of the ultimate problem which we fight against, which is sin. And we pray these things in the name of your Son, Jesus, the Lord of Lords and King of Kings. Amen.
Thank you, Dave. We appreciate those words of wisdom. So, today, our 2021 Veterans Day ceremony. I reflect back a couple of years ago. Last year we didn't have Veterans Day because of the pandemic situation. But a couple of years ago, a group of veterans and organizations come together, and they formed a committee that would go ahead and kind of kickstart our Veterans Day, annual Veterans Day ceremony again. And we revived it. We went out to our community, we went out to veteran organizations, and we had somewhere in the neighborhood of about 400 people that showed up for the Veterans Day ceremony. This year, we dedicate all of our programs and all of our committees to keep this going from year to year. Fillmore, Piru, this area, this whole valley, it's a brotherhood. It's a sisterhood. It's a combination of hardworking people, of young families, and senior citizens that have been here for generations, and new people coming into our town. The common denominator is that across all of these times and across all of these communities, we have our veterans. We have those who have served in the World War II, Korean War, the Vietnam, the Middle East, and are trying to protect what is so near and dear to us today, and that's the American flag and the American way of life. So I come here to ask all of us to join and be part of that brotherhood, to be part of that sisterhood. We need to reach out, and we need to help our veterans. We need to go ahead and identify those veterans that have just come back, those that are still hurting or are still not sure what they want to do. But we need to bring them together. We need to bring them in so they can be part of this community. They can be part of this brotherhood, part of this sisterhood. So I appreciate everyone coming here. I think it's wonderful. I hope we can continue to do this. We'll be calling on you for during the year for veteran services. We'll have some events that we can do, maybe even some fundraisers so we can raise some monies to help those that really do need assistance. So anyways, thank you so much. I'd like at this time to acknowledge some of our dignitaries that are here, and they were at the parade, if I may. First from, I don't know if there's a representative from Kelly Long's, our supervisor's office, Manny Harris. Manny, if you are not here, and if not, certainly we'll convey this message to you. And from our Fillmore City Council, Lynn Edmonds. Lynn, let's give her a hand. And is Christina Villasenor here? Christina. And our new member of the City Council is Simone Alex. There you are, Simone. Let's give her a big welcoming to Fillmore. And I think I saw our Fire Chief Keith Garola. Keith? And also from American Veterans United, Mr. Henry Alfaro, the president. Henry? Okay, and then also I'd like to go ahead and extend appreciation to our sponsors who made this possible today. And I'll just go ahead and read them. Fillmore Knights of Columbus. And if you can hold your applause, I'll just read them all. Fillmore Knights of Columbus, the Seroptimus International of Fillmore, Union Bank, Nova Storage, AMS, Villegas Public Affairs, Sespe Creek Events LLC, the Fillmore Lions Club, the Fillmore Rotary Club, the Piru Neighborhood Council, the Future Farmers of America, VFW Post 9637, the City of Fillmore, the Fillmore Fire Department, American Veterans United, the Fillmore Piru Veterans Memorial District, and special thanks to Rick Steve from the Faders Car Club for his donation of the Grand Marshals banners that you'll see here. And please, there's some pens there. They're going to be dedicated to our Grand Marshals, so sign, autograph, anything that you'd like to say. It's going to be right here to my right, over here to your left. So let's give them all a big round of applause. Okay, at this time, I'd like to go ahead and read the 2021 President's Veterans Day Proclamation. This is from our President. For generations, millions of Americans have answered the call to serve, taking a sacred oath to defend and preserve our nation's ideals of liberty and democracy. These patriots represent the best of us. On Veterans Day, we honor their service, dedication, and valor, and are forever grateful for their sacrifice. Our nation has only one truly sacred obligation: to properly prepare and equip our service members when we send them into harm's way, and to take care for them and their families when they return home. For our 19 million veterans, that means ensuring that they have access to the support and resources for a future of security, opportunity, and dignity. This is even more important as we continue to recover from the global COVID-19 pandemic. Our obligation to support our nation's veterans and their families is personal for me and the entire Biden family, and I remain committed to ensuring that every veteran receives the case and support they have earned. They recently passed bipartisan infrastructure investments and jobs acts will create millions of good jobs for veterans and grow opportunities for veteran-owned businesses. My Build Back Better framework also prioritizes improvements to VA healthcare, ensuring that every veteran, including our often underserved female and LGBTQ veterans, receive competent, world-class healthcare through the Department of Veterans Affairs. Last month, the White House Gender Policy Council released the first ever United States strategy for gender equality and equality, which included the unique needs and contributions of women service members and veterans. And the Department of Veterans Affairs is also working to get every eligible veteran the information and opportunity they need to register and vote, protecting their voice in the democracy that they fought to preserve. Ensuring veterans have timely access to service and benefits is at the center of any administration's commitment to fulfilling our sacred obligation. This includes addressing the adverse health effects of service-related exposures. In August, the Department of Veterans Affairs announced it will begin processing disability claims for respiratory conditions connected to exposure during military service in Southwest Asia and other areas.
There you go, bud.
My administration also added 3 conditions to the list of those presumptively associated with exposure to Agent Orange, ending the long wait for disability benefits for many veterans in that era. In the coming months, we are committed to taking additional action to address potential adverse health effects associated with military environmental exposures. So many of our veterans carry the scars from their service, both visible and invisible, and it is our nation's responsibility to help them heal. Too many veterans and service members have considered suicide or taken their own lives, and addressing this tragedy is a national responsibility. That is why I have made military and veteran suicide prevention a top priority, and earlier this month, I released a new comprehensive cross-sector public health strategy to reduce military and veteran suicides. Implementing this approach will reunite us around a common mission and accelerate meaningful improvements in suicide prevention programs, helping us up to our sacred obligation to those who have served in our nation's armed forces. Fulfilling our nation's promise to our veterans and military families, caregivers, and survivors is not only a moral imperative, it is crucial to our national security and to maintaining the finest military the world has ever known. We are a nation that keeps our promises. That is why my administration is dedicated to a whole-of-government approach in responding to the needs of our veterans and their families, caregivers, and survivors. Through the First Lady's work with Joining Forces, the White House initiative to support veteran and military families, caregivers, and survivors, my administration is addressing employment and entrepreneurship, military and veteran child education, and health and well-being for veteran families. Earlier this year, the First Lady met with military and veteran families to learn how we can better support and prioritize their needs. And in September, Joining Forces and the National Security Council released a report outlining the first round of administration-wide commitments and proposals that support veterans and military caregivers and survivors. These efforts will honor our sacred obligation to support our families. On Veterans Day, we honor our nation's veterans who have given so much to protect our freedom and the freedom of others around the globe. They represent the highest ideals of our country. While we can never fully repay the debt we owe these heroes, we will honor their service and provide them the care and support that they deserve. We also salute and show gratitude for all who ensure our armed forces remain strong, united, and unmatched. Now, therefore, I, Joseph R. Biden Jr., President of the United States of America, do hereby proclaim November 11, 2021 as Veterans Day. I encourage all Americans to recognize the valor, the courage, and sacrifice of our veterans through appropriate ceremonies and private prayers. I call upon federal, state, and local officials to display the flag of the United States of America and to participate in patriotic activities in their communities. And I call on all Americans, including civic and fraternal organizations, places of worship, schools, and communities, to support this day with commemorative expressions and programs. In witness whereof I have hereunto set my hand this 9th day of November in the year of our Lord 2021, and of the independence of the United States of America, the 246th. Signed, Joseph R. Biden, Jr. Thank you so much for allowing me to read the President's Proclamation. Our Councilwoman Lynn Evans.
I wanted to let you know that we care about veterans, the city of Fillmore does. And all those apartments that are being built on Mountain View and the highway, 15 of those are dedicated to veterans. So if you're looking for a place to live and you need a secure and caring spot, please let Many Mansions know and get on the list for that, because you're important to us. Thank you.
Thank you. We appreciate those words. We do truly care about our veterans here in our community. It's always been a showcase, you know, from the banners that are hanging for our soldiers and military people on downtown to the people that help support it. So it's always wonderful that we have a community like this. At this time, I'd like to bring up the Knights of Columbus Grand Knight of our area, Mr. Basilico Zagari. Basilico, are you here? He's right behind me. Okay. And we're going to introduce our Grand Marshals, and also Basilio is going to present the plaques to our Grand Marshal. Okay, first and foremost, we're privileged to have two Grand Marshals today. We have Mr. Raymond Esponson here with us, and Mr. Lupis Sanchez Ibarra. So I asked their families to dig up some dirt so I could read to you. So here he goes. First with Raymond Esponson, born 11/9/27. He's 94 years old. His parents were Guadalupe and Esperanza Ponce. He was born in Piru on Main Street. How about that? He attended Piru School from kindergarten to the 6th grade and Fillmore Junior High and high school, and he graduated in 1946. Raymond went to the service on April 7th, 1953, and he had basic training at Fort Ord, and then he went to Korea for 1 year and left on October 7th, 1954. And he was shipped to Schofield Barracks in Oahu, Hawaii, where he was stationed and discharged on March 23, 1955. He was with the 25th Division, 27th Regiment in the infantry. He was a private and became sergeant in December of 1954. He received the Korean Service Medal, the UN Service Medal, National Defense Services Medal, and the Good Conduct Medal. He met the love of his life, Elma Riel, in 1948, and while in the service, he came home and they got married on April 10th, 1955 in Fremont, California, and they've been married 75 years. They have 4 children, Fred Ponce, Lonnie Ponce, and Raymond, baby Ray Ponce, and Joyce Lugo. He has 11 grandchildren and 16 great-grandchildren. He started working as a rancher in 1946 and retired in 2008 and continued working part-time until 2016. He worked for the Newhall Land and Farming, Bacello Ranch, and lastly Willow Grove Ranch, from where he retired. He loves to go hunting and loves camping with his family, where they go every year to Convict Lake, and he still continues with that tradition. Let's give him a round of applause. And next, I'd like to read a little bio of Lupe. Lupe Sanchez Ibarra was drafted into the Army on January 12, 1954. He took his basic training at Fort Ord in Monterey, California. After basic, he was sent to Korea in July of 1954. He said they were getting ready to sign the armistice, so he did not see active combat. He said when he arrived in Korea, he was a bit nervous because they had sent him to headquarters and he thought he was in trouble. But they assigned him to the Drum and Bugle Corps as he played the trumpet. From Korea, he was transferred to the Schofield Barracks military base in Hawaii. He was a member of the Golden Dragons 25th Infantry Division, and he served the remainder of his duty at Schofield and was discharged on December 7th, 1955. He said they wanted him to re-enlist, but he said he was ready to go home and come back here, and we're so grateful that you're here. So let's give him a round of applause. So at this time, I'm going to hand this over to our Grand Knight, Basilico, and we can present the plaques to the Grand Marshals. Okay, the first will be Sergeant Raymond Esponson, Co-Grand Marshal, Fillmore Piru Veterans Day Celebration, November 11th, 2021. Sergeant Raymond Esponson, presented for his dedicated courage and distinguished military service in Korea, October 7th, 1953 to October 7th, 54. As a member of the 27th Infantry Division, thank you for your service. Basilico Higueras, Grand Knight of the Knights of Columbus. And Co-Grand Marshal, Fillmore Piru Veterans Day Celebration, November 11th, 2021, Corporal Lupe Sanchez Ibarra, presented for his dedicated and distinguished military service to our country as a member of the Golden Dragons 25th Infantry Division. Thank you for your service. Basilico Izagave, Grand Knight, Knights of Columbus. Thank you, Basilico, and thank you, Knights of Columbus, for all your commitment to today and to support our veterans. At this time, I'd like to go ahead and bring up Mr. John Munoz. He'd like to go ahead and address our community. And you know, I read the President's Proclamation, and it really hit home, and it hit home here to some of our veterans. And so I'd ask John to come in to speak to our community. John.
Thank you. Go ahead. Hello, everyone. I am a Thailand veteran of the Vietnam War. In March of '68, I was ordered to go to Camp Friendship, Karat, Thailand. As most of you guys know, Thailand, R&R country. But after I got there, I realized that R&R country was only Bangkok and Pattaya. The rest of Thailand had air bases and army camps with supplies for the Vietnam War. The Air Force flew 80% of their missions over Vietnam and Laos out of Thailand. Camp Friendship, where I was stationed at, had big warehouses with nothing but supplies to go directly to Vietnam. In order to get the supplies to Thailand, the Thailand government built a deep water harbor right there in Satahip. And from Satahip, the U.S. Army engineers, which our brother and from Piru, Frank Gonzalez, may he rest in peace, helped work on that, building that freeway when he was in Thailand. And I always wondered, how was Thailand such a peaceful country that we could have all this there? Well, in researching, it turned out that way back in the early 50s, the Thai government realized that the Chinese communists were making their way down to Thailand. So they figured it would probably be best if they teamed up with Laos and went and fought the communists in Laos, keeping them out of Thailand. And that's what they did with CIA training and American troops that, of course, we weren't there. They went in and fought the battle in Laos. So Thailand was mainly there directly for the Vietnam War, even though I know a lot of guys thought we were there just for R&R, but that was not the case. As we came home, like most Vietnam veterans, we started getting ill. Well, we started with going to the VA. The Vietnam veteran, they told him, your health issues are due to Agent Orange. The veteran from Thailand, they were told that no Agent Orange was spread in Thailand, so we couldn't get benefits. Not until 2010 did the VA actually come out and say that Agent Orange was spread in Thailand, but only around the perimeters of the bases. And only those that were on the perimeter, MPs and some soldiers guarding the perimeter, were entitled to qualify for benefits. But they also had to have proof that they were on the perimeter. Thailand, still being a safe area to be in, did have guerrillas around the country. Once in a while, the guerrillas would start coming over in our direction to our camps and bases. So they would put us out on the perimeter, laying out there in the dirt and mud for hours, till we got word that the communist guerrillas had turned around and gone some other place. So we were on the perimeter many times, but we didn't have no proof. So, you know, the Vietnam veteran, they deserve our most appreciation for what they went through. But these guys in Thailand, Guam, the Philippines, that were exposed to Agent Orange also deserve to have our recognition. But more important, they need our government. They need the VA to back these guys up that went out there as young kids, came home and got sick, and have been sick for many years. Some of these people have been waiting since the 70s to get their claims approved. Many have died waiting to get their claims approved with nothing. So I say let's get to the VA and the government of the United States to take care of these guys. Let these guys not be pushed over to the side and wait for them to die before they can get anything. They did their part in the war, and they deserve our most respect, and they deserve the VA benefits. Thank you, and welcome home.
So reading the President's proclamation and his commitment to go back and take a look at how we can help and serve those veterans that fought in the Southeast Asian conflict, you know, it's up to us to be the voice. It's up to us to make sure that we connect with our congressperson and our officials, so we can ensure that these veterans get their due service. So thanks again, John, for that. Okay, and now I'm delighted to introduce to you our guest speaker, Chief Hospital Corpsman of the Fleet Marine Force, Danielle Jean Fuentes, United States Navy Operational Support Center, Ventura County. A little bit about her. Hospital Corpsman Chief Fleet Marine Force Danielle J. Fuentes was born and raised in Western Massachusetts. She graduated from East Hampton High School in 1992 and enlisted in the Navy in January of '93. After recruit training in Orlando, Florida, she attended a Hospital Corpsman A School at the Naval Training Center in Great Lakes, Illinois. Her first duty assignment was at Naval Hospital Pensacola, Florida, in the Labor and Delivery Department from '93 to '94. Chief Fuentes then transferred to the emergency room at Naval Hospital in Yokosuka, Japan, where she served from 1994 to '97. After overseas duty, she was stationed at Naval Air Force Warfare Center Operations Detachments in Patuxent River, Maryland, and served as the Clinic Consult Management and Emergency Corpsman until January of '99. After her tour, she separated from active duty and joined the Navy Reserve. While in the Navy Reserve, she worked at the Bureau of Medicine. Desiring to return to active duty, Chief Fuentes signed up for the Canvasser Recruiter Program in Navy Enlisted Classification 9585. As a recruiter, she excelled and quickly converted to Navy Council Recruiter, where she served from 2000 to 2004. In 2006, she attended the Career Navy Force Academy and attended the Navy Enlisted Classification. Chief Fuentes then changed jobs from Navy Counselor to Hospital Corpsman and transferred to Navy Operational Center in Alameda, California. During her tour, she received the medical and dental programs, catapulting the command to #1 in the region. She then took on the challenge of attending the Operational Trauma Course, Field Military Training Battalion, obtaining NEC 8404. As the platoon commander, her unit was recognized as Hall of Fame Super Doc in the #1 Medical Squad. She worked at the 2nd Battalion Marines Weapons Company in Port Hueneme, California, as the first female integrated with the infantry and senior medical department representative. She led the Inspector General and Department inspections and was awarded the best in the regiment. She was also hand-selected to inspect the companies within that regiment. Most recently, she served as the medical department head at Navy Operational Support Center in Ventura. The culmination of her efforts over the last 5 years resulted in the command's receipt of the NOSC of the Year 2013, 14, and 15. The Navy Surgeon General's Health Promotion Gold Star Blue H Awards for 5 consecutive years. The CNRFC Sexual Assault Awareness Programs Award in 2016 and the Retention Excellence Award in 2015 as well. Chief Fuentes has her major from for her master's in science and leadership and management, holds a bachelor's degree in organizational management, and associate degree in health sciences and marketing in sales. She currently resides in Camarillo, California, and is married to Edgar Fuentes and has 3 children, Dominic, Sonny, and Max. Her personal awards include the Navy and Marine Corps Commendation Medal, the Navy and Marine Corps Achievement Medal, and the Military Outstanding Volunteer Service Medal, and various unit awards. So, please give a big hand to our special guest, Chief Hospital Corpsman Danielle G. Fuentes. Oh, absolutely.
Well, that was a lot, huh? All right, let me just get settled here. Okay, so much information just thrown at you, acronyms, things like that, right? Well, I served in the Navy for 25 years. It was a long time. It went by really fast. It's crazy, huh? 25 years. Woo! All right, well, firstly, I'd like to thank Ernie Villegas and the City of Fillmore, Piru, and surrounding areas for welcoming me here to this event. I'd also like to thank the Fillmore Piru Veterans Memorial for inviting me. Thank you so much for having me here today. I'd also like to wish a warm, happy 246th birthday to the Marine Corps, Semper Fi, fellow Marines. Hoorah! Woo! Hoorah! All right, when I was invited for this event, I spoke with Ernie, and I asked him what was it that he wanted me to talk about today. What was it that I could talk to the City of Fillmore about? He asked that I speak about being a woman veteran and how experiences challenged me. How was I challenged through that 25 years? How important communities are with their support and involvement. And that's what I plan on doing today. Don't worry, you won't be here to hear 25 years of experiences, unless you want to be. Let's see. It's an honor to have been invited to speak here today. I own a socially responsible, positive affirmation jewelry business, and I have actually had booths here in Fillmore for the Honey Festival, the Christmas Parade, events like that, and they've all been wonderful. At each event, I've been met with kindness, welcoming arms, and a sense of community by the people of Fillmore. I thank you for having an open mind and an open heart and allowing me to share a few of my stories here today. The time that I served our country was a fabulous honor, a family, although it wasn't without its challenges. There were difficult and stressful times, but through it all, I focused on being positive, being honest, and true to me, which is a leading factor in why I design jewelry that empowers and uplifts the wearer in times of adversity. Being in the military is a part of me. However, it's good for people to know that just because I served our country for 25 years, I still love butterflies, flowers, and lots of color. And my husband would say unicorns too. Which brings me to my outfit today. I wanted to make a statement, but also this is how I feel comfortable, most comfortable, and that's what's most important. I could have worn a basic typical tan suit, but I decided to be me. Since I retired in 2018, my family always says that I dress in rainbow, and they're not wrong. Another reason is to let you, the community, know that veterans come in all shapes, all sizes. We're all different, and all of our experiences are different. I am a warrior, I am strong, and I like to be girly. And you know what? That's okay. I can be that. Being in the Navy was a fabulous honor, a family. Why did I join? Well, I wanted to travel, to take care of people, and most of all, to be challenged. My career in the Navy did just that. I was able to work with Marines, recruit young professionals to serve beside me, work in hospitals, emergency rooms, and much more. As great as it was, my time in the service was not without its challenges. Now, I actually joined the Navy as Navy Corpsman, so I go with the Marine unit. However, when I was in Corps School in 1993, women were not allowed. I was denied the opportunity to serve with the Marines because there weren't any opportunities at the time for female personnel. So one thing that I wanted to read to you today is what a corpsman is. I know there's a lot of Army around here, and that's okay, so I'll educate you a little bit on the Navy and Marine Corps. All right, so if you wouldn't mind, I'll read a little bit here. The Hospital Corps, the most decorated rate in the Navy. Wherever you find the Navy, wherever you find the Marine Corps, there you will find the Navy Hospital Corpsmen. In times of peace, they toil unceasingly, day and night, providing quality care to numerous beneficiaries. In times of war, they are on the beaches with the Marines, employed in amphibious operations and transportation of wounded by air on the battlefield and on all types of ships, submarines, aircraft carriers, and landing craft. There are innumerable instances of heroism during which they have consciously exposed themselves to danger to save lives are not spectacular because the corpsmen are required to act. Rather, their bravery is exceptional because it was not required, but given freely, willingly in service to their country, to their fellow humanity, and above and beyond the call of duty. And that's what the Hospital Corps is. So what did I do for 25 years so I couldn't go with the Marine Corps when I started out? Well, as you heard, there was a dialogue of a bunch of places that I went to, a bunch of things that I did. So I'm not going to sum that up in one speech. I'll just tell you a few stories. Unless you guys want to hear that. All right, so fast forward through my career to 2000 and 2006. As Ernie said, I was a Navy recruiter during this time period. And what was going on during 2000 and 2006? Right? We had 9/11. It was a difficult time. These were tough times in our country. I was recruiting in Washington, D.C. Applicants that I recruited were going to war. It was my goal to be professional and recruit the right person for the right job. Being honest and forthright to the applicants ensured that there weren't misconceptions about what was expected of them while serving in the military. It was this transparency that helped to prepare me for challenges that I would face in my future jobs. I finally got the opportunity to transition back to being a hospital corpsman after being a recruiter, and I filled a highly desirable operational job. This job was within a Marine infantry unit. I was nervous about going to it because it was an all-male unit, but it was right here in Port Hueneme. It would require attending a boot camp-like school for 12 weeks, so basically they teach corpsmen how to be Marines for 12 weeks. And that's when I was a platoon commander, and as you heard, we did very well. I had 64 in my platoon. So with those additional training requirements, I was up for the challenge. Now this was an all-male unit. I know there was quite a few of you in the Army infantry, and so you're familiar with it being a male-dominated area. So much so that there wasn't even a female restroom in the facility. So I got there, it was only a male restroom, no female restroom. They did eventually have one made, thankfully. The emails would come through and they would be titled gentleman and lady. See, I was the only lady there. There's probably about 130 or so Marines in that weapons company. So it's important to note that yes, there have been trendsetters throughout history in various areas. People have paved the way for a more inclusive society, and this is no different. At this time, Marine Corps females were not allowed in infantry. However, since I was Navy, I was integrated into the company as a senior medic, or doc. With that in mind, I'd like to tell you about my supervisor and friend in the Marine unit, and the first times that we worked together. Now this guy, let me tell you, he looked like G.I. Joe. Exactly what you think G.I. Joe would look like. In 20 years, he had never worked with a female, not once. So every time we were in the war room and we were discussing our mission, he would look to me and say, earmuffs, Doc, earmuffs. You know, look away, Doc, earmuffs. I'm gonna say something bad. After a few of these meetings, I asked him if we could have a minute alone, and we stepped into his office. I explained to him that every time he said earmuffs, Doc, earmuffs, it made me different than any other Marine. I told him that it made me different than any other Marine, it made me an outsider. I then asked him, treat me like every other Marine. Treat me like the Marines that are here, and if I can't handle it, I will let you know. From that point, I did Marine Corps regulations. I did all the combat fitness tests. I was Marine Corps regulations and the Alpha uniform for Chief Female Petty Officers. They didn't know how to create one. So when I contacted the uniform shop, they had to call me back because there had never been an Alpha uniform for a Navy Chief Female Petty Officer. But having that conversation with my superior officer and the open dialogue that it created allowed us to have a more cohesive team, because that's what is important. The Marine Corps is all about a team, which leads me to the next situation that presented. Our company was preparing for a mission, and it required us to meet up with the regiment. The regiment's about 400 or 500 personnel. We had to fly to another country after months of workups. We arrived at the Air Force Base to board the plane. It was at this time that the leadership was hesitant to allow me to board this plane. They had me take all of my gear aside and move it. Now, because we had had that dialogue, and my supervisor was confident in my abilities to excel as the senior medical representative, regardless of my gender, I was able to go on that mission and many others to follow. We have a statement in the Marine Corps, and it is earned, never given. And I made sure that I earned it. That I earned the respect, and that I earned the responsibility, and that I earned the right to call myself Doc. Standing firm in times of adversity throughout my career has been a paramount trait. Remember that when you are faced with a choice, there's always an easy way, and there's always the right way. The years that I served my country flew by, and I am proud to have contributed to our great nation, and hope that the small sacrifices that my family and I have made aided others in their own journey. I want to thank the City of Fillmore, Piru, and surrounding areas for being involved and being supportive. And a happy Veterans Day to everyone.
I'm going to put my bottle of water on this side so the flag doesn't attack it. Here we go. At this time, I'd like to call upon Basilico Izagari, our Grand Knight of the Knights of Columbus, to present Danielle with this wonderful plaque, the Fillmore Piru Veterans Day Celebration, November 11th, 2021. Chief Hospital Corpsman, Fleet Marine Force, Danielle Jean Fuentes, United States Navy Operations Support Center, Ventura County Medical Department Head, presented for her dedicated and outstanding service for our country and our community as distinguished speaker. Thank you so much for your service. Basilico Izagari, Grand Knight. Thank you, Deej. Okay, now as we come to our final chapter here, we're going to do our Armed Forces Branch Tribute. And I'm asking VFW Post 9637 will be posting the service flags of each particular Army branch. And I'd like to introduce you to our DJ here who's been taking care of us throughout today's Danny Ibarra. Danny, it's all yours.
To understand a military veteran, you must know we left home as a teenager or in our early 20s for an unknown adventure. We loved our country enough to defend it and protect it with our lives. We said goodbye to family and friends. We learned the basics, and then we scattered in the wind to the far corners of the earth. We became brothers and sisters, regardless of color, race, or creed. We didn't earn a great wage. We experienced the happiness of mail call and the sadness of missing important events back home. We didn't know when or even if we were ever going to see home again. We grew up fast, and yet somehow we never grew up at all. We fought for our freedom as well as the freedom of others. Some saw combat, some didn't. Some of us saw the world, and some of us didn't. Some of us dealt with physical warfare. Most of us dealt with psychological warfare. We participated in time-honored ceremonies and rituals with each other, strengthening our bonds and camaraderie. We counted on each other to get our job done, and sometimes to survive it at all. We have dealt with victory and tragedy. We have celebrated and mourned. We lost a few along the way, some of us started somewhere new, and some of us never came home at all. We share an unspoken bond with each other that most people don't experience and few will understand. We speak highly of our own branch of service and poke fun at other branches. We know, however, that if needed, we will be there for our brothers and sisters and stand together as one in a heartbeat. Being a veteran is something that had to be earned. It can never be taken away. To all our veterans here today, I commend you and thank you for all that you have done and sacrificed for your country. Try to remember the good times and make peace with the bad. But most importantly, stand tall and proud, for you have earned the right to be called a veteran.
If you have served or are now serving in one of the branches of our military, please stand as we sing your song.
Shout Space Force.